Man, I appreciate it. We're going to bring on our next guest speaker, who is Corrina Carter. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, I wanted to first thank you for having me. And two is, I don't know how I'm going to follow Kelsey and Jamie because they are both phenomenal.
Yes, they did a great job. And I have faith that you will do just as well. And I do appreciate you joining us. And, like I said, you're one of the ones that I wasn't, you weren't familiar with what I do. And I wasn't, friends with you on Facebook at the time. But I reached out, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us and give people your knowledge.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I hope that I give them a little bit of something today to take away. So today, first of all, I want to thank everybody for being here and listening to these amazing women, because everyone has so much to offer. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into who I am, how I got here, and then why the top 15 things I have learned in 15 years of owning my own business, and how important it is to kind of stay focused on those topics of what we'll go over. So I've been in the mortgage business for 23 years, not by choice, by chance. So my previous job before the mortgage industry was I was selling timeshare down at Virginia Beach. So I moved from Northern Virginia to Virginia Beach, sold timeshare for a year. So was in the sales industry a little bit. And a little bit of personal background. My nephew, who at that time was diagnosed with leukemia, the weekend of Memorial Day, right before, and my boss said, you cannot leave to go be with your family. And at that point in time, I was like, there's no way possible that I'm not going to be with my family at the time of need. And he said, if you walk out the door, never come back. And I was like, this has got to be, like, for real, a nightmare. Like, how am I going to lose my job, maybe lose part of my family, not be with my family at the same time? And what am I going to do? And I chose to walk out the door. So I was jobless, almost homeless, and working from a position to where, what do I do and how do I do to feed my family? What can I do next? And a girlfriend of mine asked me, hey, I know this guy who is looking for someone to field leads for him for mortgages. And I was like, I don't know how to spell mortgages. So what do I do now? So I talked it over with my family and said, okay, I'm going to try this. And at that point, learning the experience with my family, what we went through of, like, how can we be there for each other and be present and still be able to support each other income wise. So me and my girlfriend started with a guy working leads. And at that point, some of you guys, old schoolers, will be able to understand. We went to the courthouse, we got notes, we were looking up refinances for him, different things like that. And 9 months later, we found ourselves to be in a position to where we were originating. We paid each other's bills off of credit cards, different things, and never in my imagination did I think that I would be a mortgage originator. And what that looked like for my family and my business, fast forward 23 years later. So 8 years later, I decided to open my own company. Again, I never thought, what could it be? Why would I then decide to open my own company when there's so many companies out here I could go work for? But I wanted to be unique. I wanted to set myself apart as an originator in our area, and I wanted to be able to do things my way. So rewind a little bit of doing things my way. So my experience doesn't come easy. 12-year-old runaway, 15-year-old pregnant mom, 17-year-old senior in high school, 2 jobs, my own apartment. I always kind of chose a little bit the harder way. So I wanted to open this mortgage company. And at that time, there was no guidance, there was no aim, there was nothing out there. The community that we have now is phenomenal in order to help us educate, and just like this, what we're doing today. What can you pull from each person and you can build your business upon it? And what does that look like? And no one wanted to really be part of that in the mid-2000s. Like, why would you want to open your own company? Why would you want to do things the hard way? So really what I looked at said, fast forward, how can I support my family and support generations that I have and make sure that I have the income coming in? And what can my children do to rely on to make sure that they can support themselves as well too? So fast forward, we're all working together. So a lot of people don't realize, but my son helps me run the operations here at CMS. My daughter helps with the accounting. My best friend owns the processing company. I have two sisters who work for us, who are processors, who are sisters, who now their one sister actually took a job with us as well too, over on the title side with Deshaun. So we have a lot of family. So some of the things I'm going to talk about today are going to be, how do we keep that culture going? Why does all this matter and where we came from? Because living with family, eating with family, working with family, walking in the door with family and friends, and keeping that culture going every day is extremely hard. And how do we not kick, scream, and beat each other to death in regards to living? Michelle said earlier, is like, we're a community. We're a great community, but in that community, we will fight. We will get along. We will love each other. We will fuss. We will hug it out, whatever we have to do. So you have to find those people who fit well within your culture and what you do and what you like working with. So earlier on the round table, Laura had asked, like, how do you merge new people into that? So one of the things we'll go into is what we're working on here at CMS and how we're merging those new people into that. But in regards to that, the culture itself, one of the things that I did a couple years ago was I bought a building. It's a small condo, and we all kind of come into work every day. We meal prep, we cook, we clean, we have a gym, we work out. So it's like a home away from home, to the point when COVID hit, it was really hard for me to tell them, you have to stay home, you can't come into the office. And people wanted to come to the office instead of staying home. Now we're used to a little bit more of working from home, but in the meantime, creating part of that, of what people like when they walk in the door and how that starts. And like I said, I wanted to give you a little bit of background on who I was, because my leadership skills didn't come easy. It wasn't something that I really thought, hey, I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to be an owner of a company. I was a 12-year-old runaway. I was a pregnant mom at 15. I had my daughter 1 month before I was 16. My parents at some point in time said, okay, you're going to have to do this on your own. And I was really forced to, at 16, 17, and 18, to branch out and definitely provide for me and my daughter. So it wasn't something that I thought I would be providing for families, for employees, 23 families of employees, that I thought, okay, can I really burden that? How do we keep that intact every single day, and what that looks like for each of us? So in 15 years of owning my own company, there are a lot of things that we talk about and what we go over each day. But one of the biggest things that I want when I go into these 15 things, and feel free to write them down, that's the teacher in me, feel free to ask any questions. I definitely can see some of them and would love to answer them at the end too as well. The number one thing I talk about, and if anybody ever knows me in the business for 23 years, is that I do one thing every single week, is I try and stay organized. I'm not the most organized person, but the number one thing is to stay organized. Make lists and follow through. This is the number one thing that I do all the time. On Sunday nights, I make a list of what my to-dos are for that week. On Wednesday, I tear up that list, I rewrite it, and make sure that I am on target of what those things are that I need to do. On Saturday morning, I recycle that again, do it over. What is it that I needed to accomplish in that list? It's on my daily list, my quarterly list, my yearly goals, whatever it may be. I keep that list on me. And anybody can ask me any single day, where is my list? It's not far from me. So I know a lot of the millennials are crazy and thinking, well, I still have a hand list. My son yells at me all the time. but it's by me. It's like my security blanket. Like if I lose my list, I freak the heck out. So I can't lose my list. It doesn't matter what I have to do. The number one thing for me staying organized is my list. So it could be something different for you. It could be in regards to your email, could be your organization. I've gotten better at that for my email and stay organized within my email, but definitely my written list is my Bible of what I go by every single week. And anybody who knows me knows if I lose that list, I freak out. So definitely keep a list going. That list will include your daily things, your weekly, your quarterly, and then your goals for 3-5 years. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Number 2 thing that I learned in my 15 years is give credit where credit is due. Share goals and business successes with your team. Call out your team members who go above and beyond in the line of work. Also, always give thanks. I will say this to my team members. I am so proud of them right now. Everybody has worked night and day since March. A lot of people thought COVID may shut down our business, but it took us into high gear. I don't know what that exact number is, but Deshaun repeated to me last night, like 1.4 trillion loans were originated just in the second quarter of this year, which is like some number that no one would ever thought was out there for us to even do as a lending community in whole. So, for you guys, give thanks to your team. How do you do that? What that looks like. I know people get tired of my emails because there's so much please and thank you in them. And some people think that's just, maybe she's just sucking up. Maybe she just wants something. But once you get to know me, you know that in most of my emails, I try please and thank you. What is it that I can do for them? How can I give back to them and give credit where credit is due? There is not a day that my employees don't walk out the door where I don't say thank you. And I ask them, please come back. Of course, I want them to come back, but I tell them thank you. Thank you for the work that day. Thank you for staying late. Thank you for coming in early. Thank you for ordering that appraisal. Thank you for sending thank you for preparing lunch. What is it that day that they did, or what is it that week? But thank you. I appreciate them so much. And I mean that to the bottom of my heart. And I know they can feel that. I know they do. So you can never say thank you enough. I just feel in my heart that you just can't, where people don't take that for granted, that you have to say thank you. So, I mean, there's not a day that they don't walk out the door where I don't say thank you. And I get maybe the same response from everybody. No problem. That's my job. Or you're welcome. Or let's keep it going. And I always tell them to come back. So the number 2 thing that I learned over 15 years is please give credit where credit is due. People want to hear that you appreciate them. The number 3 thing is treat your employees well. How can you treat your employees well? One of my new hires told me, Corrina, I love working here. I've never worked somewhere where I feel like I don't know everything I need to know, and I'm still appreciated, but at the same time, I'm not criticized as much as I thought it would be. I've had a boss who yelled at me, who screamed at me, who made me cry. And some of us old schoolers in the business will appreciate this as I talk to and reference my team members and talk to them, and some of the millennials coming in. They don't understand the pressures of the past or the difference in what we did in business now due to modern technology. So there was a lot of unappreciated people in our business, and a lot of probably what we would consider backdoor screaming matches. So and especially, unfortunately, for us women, I do feel like women were very extremely unappreciated and very much undeserving of some of the ways they were treated in regards to processing in regards to originating. So my one of my new processors came to me. She said, I've been screamed at, I've been belittled, and I just feel like this would never happen here. So one of the things you have to do is you have to treat your employees well. So what comes around goes around. They are the first line of communication with your customers. If your employees are not happy walking in that door and coming to work, how do you expect them to treat your customers every day? So how are you expecting to create that culture if you're not working on that within your culture? We work on that weekly, daily here at CMS Mortgage. That's one thing that I will say that we try really hard is to treat each other well. Put together a small list of each one of their favorites. So your team members, what do they like? Do they like chocolate? What does their family like to do? What other things could you help as far as them? Participate in their charity events. What can you do to show your support to your team members besides just working with them and walking out the door every day? We do birthdays here. I'm not great at birthdays. I don't remember birthdays all that well. So usually it's someone else reminding me birthdays. So I'm much better at trying to provide something maybe another time of the year, just picking up something at the store or either just bringing in goodies. And if you guys know me well at all, I'll buy groceries anytime or have them delivered, and the girls will meal prep all the time. So, whatever I can do to bring some value to them, to tell them I appreciate them, besides just actually saying thank you sometimes, treat your employees well. What would you want? If you owned your own business, how would you want to be treated as far as, your boss? What are you looking for? So I say that. Be supportive, not belittled. Be motivated, not pressured or bullied. And the biggest thing I think for us women in the industry is be coached up, not tearing each other down. How can we coach each other up? What can we do to help each other's business without tearing it down? So a little side note and story as far as that goes for my ladies out there is we have a lot of agents we work with. And a lot of times the agents, I work with a lot of lady agents, women agents over the years. And they always gravitated, at least I felt like, to the male loan officers, or we were just less of female loan officers in the business back then. And I always asked them, and to the point where I had to ask one particular individual and ask her, why do you always send me your crap deals and your male got all your good deals? And she was like, well, because I know you'll have my back. And I was like, well, how do you know that? Like, what am I doing for you? Or what am I not doing for you? So, why not entrust in me your whole business versus that? And she completely said, I've never given a woman all my business. I just won't do it. And there's too much competition there. And I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. So a lot of women just don't support women-owned businesses or don't support women in general. So be coached up. Don't tear each other down. So, and that's within the workplace too. So that brings me to hiring new people. How can we bring new people into our business and treat them well when we're used to so many people working together as a team and not be inferior to the new team members that we bring on? And that's coaching them, seeing what they like to do, what they don't like to do, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and get each person involved and help coaching them and training them, whether it be just a 30-minute session a week, whether it be an hour session a week. How can we help each other? And that goes into treating your employees well. Then each person will feel like they've had a say-so in your part of the business, and they appreciate that. So number 4, I'm going to go into provide awesome customer service. This is with what Kelsey said, with what Jamie said. Amazing customer service goes a long way. And it is crazy that we have to talk about this daily in the mortgage industry, but we have an imperfect process no matter how we slice it and dice it. in the mortgage industry. It is so imperfect. Every file's different. Every story's different. Every time we pick up something, we treat it differently. We have to react differently. We don't know what the next steps are. So we have to provide awesome customer service. Your customers will tell a friend about their experience in working with you. And that's all right now. It's all online. Surveys. People not understanding the process up front. If you don't explain the process up front to your consumer, you're going to provide bad customer service, because you're also leaving the next person that you're passing that baton to in a disadvantage, because you haven't explained that process to them. So now if you explain your process up front to them and then you pass that baton off, it is more than likely they're going to have a good customer service experience the whole ways through. So we work on that daily. I believe there can't be enough customer service in mortgages. I praise the day a customer calls me and tells me that one of my processors is stalking them. Because the fact that my processors, I don't care how many times they have to reach out to them via phone, via email. What is the best way of communication for that customer? How can that loan officer properly set up their teammates later on down the road to provide great customer service? It's not just because we have an awesome processor. It's not just because we have a good experience. It's because everybody worked as a team, provided that experience, passed that baton, and we kept moving. So we are always fine-tuning that process here at CMS. And we try to go above and beyond, but it is never perfect, and we try as hard as we can, but it's an imperfect process, and so we fine-tune it all the time. So I think about this all the time. So my favorite food chain, everybody's going to know who knows me, is Chick-fil-A, right? So we go to Chick-fil-A here, like it could be across the street, and we could all probably have a whole bunch of stock in Chick-fil-A. When we go to Chick-fil-A and you go, and I was just there the other day, and my grandson said, "We're not going to Chick-fil-A. Do you see that line?" I said, "You don't have to worry about that line. It's going to keep moving, and it's going to move fast. They're going to take your order. You're going to be happy with their service. You're going to get hot food. You're going to get my pleasure at the end of it. No problem, Miss Carter, my pleasure. Anything I can do for you, Miss Carter? No problem, my pleasure." So you want to think about that during your mortgage processes. What are you doing to provide that extra customer service? Because when someone is buying a home, or even in any other business, when someone is doing business with you and you don't communicate with them for 2 to 3 days at a time, it is like a lifetime to them. They are freaking out behind the scenes, not knowing what is going on in the process. So how can you fine tune that? And that is something we're working on every single day here at CMS Mortgage. So providing awesome customer service. So it is about making it an experience. How can we make, from the time the loan officer to the time the closer gets the package to the time we send them a customer survey, how can we make that an experience instead of a pain point? And you got to dissect that within your business. So that's the number 4 thing that I learned in my 15 years. The number 5 thing was something I never dreamed as a teenager I would be, is be my own boss. So be your own boss and be your own business. So be creative. Do not be bogged down comparing your business or how you treat your people or how you run your business by someone else or copying or the competition. You are your own self. Be your own business. So there is enough business for everybody to go around. So I've brought on several people in the past few years who actually came on board and said, "Hey, Corrina, I want to open my own broker shop, but at the same time, I have nowhere to go. I don't know how to learn it. What do I need to do?" And I said, "Sure. Bring them on. Come on in. We'll show you some of the ropes. We may not be able to show you everything, but I can show you enough to survive on the streets." So even though I knew they were going to be leaving me in 12 to 18 months, I still took them on and still tried to do my best to set them up for success. because of the fact you want to be your own business and you don't want other people to look at you and say, well, she's just doing the same thing as somebody else, or they're just doing the same thing as somebody else. So be your own business. What does that look like for you? There's plenty of business out there for everybody. So number 6 is differentiate yourself. Find something about your business that makes you different, unique, and special. So do more of that and stick to it. What is your favorite part of your business? For me, my favorite part of my business is teaching and coaching and managing. So I know it may seem like sometimes everybody says you're great on social media, or you're great out there in the public, or you're just the chatty Cathy and you're the social butterfly, but I'm actually not. I'm behind the scenes 99% of the time. And I love teaching and coaching so much that I created my second entity when the market crashed in 2009 and 10 to a training company where I taught NMLS courses, pre-licensing, and continuing ed for the past 10 years, to where I'm still getting emails today of, Corrina, are you doing CE this year? Why are you not doing CE this year? We want you to do CE this year. So that's a little bit of my release on what I like to do different than everybody else. So part of that is my passion for teaching and coaching. So how does that differentiate myself from other people? Because I like when people come in, and I like for all of our staff to be cross-trained. What can they teach each other, and how can they learn each other's position? And when we do that, it kind of makes the staff a little bit nervous that they're going to be fearful that they're going to lose part of their job, or they're going to have somebody else take over. But you got to set the right expectations and let them know what they can do for each other and how they can set themselves apart, and how they can show the other team members that they're there to be a team player. So for me, I will always cherish my training courses, what I like to do there, and hopefully that's going to be my retirement gig, sitting on an island somewhere, teaching and training you guys by video or by online. So that's what I like to do to set myself apart. And then right now for loan officers, Zoom meetings. I can't tell you how many loan officers I talk to every day, and they never see a consumer's face. I don't know why that is. I don't know how many of you guys are looking at me right now. I don't know how many guys are listening to me right now, but I'm going to call my consumer and I'm going to ask them, one, they're going to do an application, and it may be easier for them to do it online. So I may get some of their information. They may do some online. But when can we set up a Zoom meeting? What can we talk about? How can I learn them? In this day and age, if we're going to all online applications and all technical and all sales centers, as a lot of people like to go to, then they never get to know. And Jamie just spoke on that. How do you get to know that person? And how do you make those notes about that person? And everybody will tell you within my company, of 100 files we're working on right now, I may not know all of them, but I know a little bit about something. Oh yeah, that's the girl that's starting the new job, or that's the girl that's doing this, or that's the. So, I mean, just how do you make those mental notes? So one of my broker buddies years ago, I cracked up laughing and thought it was the craziest thing, was he took a picture of every single applicant that came into his office and put it in the file. So when he opened the file, he would remember what he knew about that person. And now I think back to that and I was like, okay, and if you're not Zooming with your consumer, how do you know who they are? And if you put a face with a name, and we have a lot of overseas clients that come over that get restationed here or get stationed here in Norfolk. So I like to ask them, would you guys like to meet? When would you like to meet? Whether it be 9 o'clock at night or I have to get on Zoom at 6 in the morning, I'm willing to do so. So how do you set yourself apart as a loan officer right now in this market? So that's something that you definitely want to think about. Real success is developing champions whether in life you win or lose. So real success is developing champions in life, win or lose. So how can you help that in your team members, and what can you do to help support them and help them set themselves apart? So number seven's a hard one. I think this is a hard one for everybody within our community right now. How do you not overhire? So having payroll that is too high is not a good thing. That's something we've always been taught. It definitely wasn't a great thing in 2008-9 when I had 37 employees, 4 offices, and we absolutely lost probably 70% of our products within a 9-month period. And the mortgage industry went scrunch. So how do you get fearful? You stay fearful of that once you've experienced that. And how do you overcome that? By not overhiring, making sure you're hiring properly. And number one thing on every chat room right now is, I am too busy to train, I am too busy to hire. So one thing mortgage professionals have a hard time with is waiting to train and to scale up. So by that time, you're so busy that the magic number you're willing to part with, for training mode is, it becomes like, I will do anything. I will spend any money to get these people on board, but they already need to be trained. So sometimes you have to reinvest into your business. And what does that look like? So I was talking to my coach the other night, and I was letting her know, big shout outs to Christine. She is phenomenal. And one of the things I was telling her was like, okay, I've set this number apart for the next 9 months, win or lose, that I know is going to leave my bank account. And this is what I'm investing in my team members to have a smoother and better process going forward. So that is one of the things you have to consider. When you're hiring, how do you not overhire? What do you do? And what does that look like for you? So for me, again, it was coming up with that magic number, what I thought our business needed in the customer service arena or in the processing arena, and making sure in that regards what that looks like for me. And I'm okay with parting with that. And I'm okay with now taking the time, hiring someone to train someone, so we don't lose business in the interim. So we also make sure that those people are coming in and they're getting some key training. So, I think for everybody, we always wait too late until we hire. So you definitely want to consider what that looks like for you and how you do that. So, and one of the things with that is tough love, but with love. So for me, I'm pretty tough on myself. I'm tough on my employees, but at the same time, I do feel so appreciated. And a lot of people think, do you kill them with kindness too much? And if you talk to all my employees or anybody else, sorry, Mitch, but they all say, like, I'm a total cold-hearted bitch a lot of times. Like, I'm like, oh, it's a hurricane? Okay, there's 12 feet of water in front of your house? Okay, I'll be there in 12 minutes to pick you up. So I'm good with that part, but sometimes I'm bad with the connection part with myself. So I also have to make sure I take that time to be, okay, a little softer on them, even though I'm tough on myself and what I expect from myself. So we want to give them tough love, but we want to also give them true love too as well. So number 8 thing that I always wish someone really, really taught me was create a positive and collaborative work environment. So how can you do that? I hear a lot of horror stories about managers never wanting to give or never wanting to give their knowledge. So you learn far more from your employees. They learn from you, then they will learn from you. So open up to their ideas. Make sure you listen to them. One thing I always believed in was my employees knowing more than me. Some managers are afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that. I want my employees to take more training. I want, whether they underwrite, don't underwrite, whether they process, don't process, take the courses. I'll pay for the courses so they can actually have the extra training that they need. I've never been afraid to share my managerial insight to help them stay positive. Also, we always share ideas on what works and what doesn't work. Nothing worse than having someone that really hates to walk through that door every single day. I never, ever, ever want to have an employee that says, I can't stand to come to work. I would literally get in my car, cry my eyeballs out, and probably never come back if I ever felt any one of my employees felt like that walking in the door. So I always give them a say-so. we put it out there and say what we're working on, how we're going to do it. We get good feedback, we get bad feedback, and ultimately, of course, it's my decision. But I do give them credibility that they have a say-so in it. What does it look like for them? How is it going to affect their position? How is it going to affect them coming to work? Are they going to like working with this person? Are they not going to like this process that we changed? How are we going to do this? And in an ever-growing customer service, changing technology, different facets that are affecting our industry, as I feel like in the next 2 years, we're going to go to major changes of how we've done business for 23 years. Our people are going to have to adapt, and they're just going to have to get used to it. That's the cold part of me. The soft part of me says, listen to them. What do they have to say? What are their fears? Because most of the time when someone just doesn't like to do something or is just not receptive, it's because they're fearful. They're fearful of what? So the first part I do is I set them down, close the door, and says, this isn't going to change who you are, and this isn't going to change what your job is. So just making sure that you keep that creative, positive workflow going with everybody, and collaborate as much as possible. What are people doing different? How does this work for them, and how doesn't it work for them? Number nine is a really hard part. Number 9 is have fun. Have fun. So have fun. In the mortgage business, how the heck do you have fun? Well, it's quarterly weekends, it's vacations, it's different things like that. It's making sure that you're eligible to be in a position to where you can set some time aside for yourself and for your family. So for me, it seems like I travel a whole lot, which I don't as much as people think I do, because mostly for work, but my yearly vacations for the past 6 years have what kept me alive. So have fun. Number 10 is give feedback. So help other business owners, budding entrepreneurs, your local community. Give your experience, your time, your money. Never be afraid to give and learn from others. I've trained other CEOs, assistants locally here. I've trained other brokers. I've spoke at many seminars. You are your business. Give back sponsorships, charity work. My favorite locally here is the Women's Shelter, our LO community. I love helping others out. What can I give to help someone else achieve their goals? Pay it forward. So number 11 is don't stop thinking of new ideas. This is probably the hardest part for me in aging. So yes, I'm aging. So is complacency. So here is where my screaming matches in the office, and I have to tell everybody to leave or shut the door when me and my millennial son get in a room and we different, is the fact is what is those new ideas? What are we going to do? And my complacency starts setting in a little bit. So I am trying 100% to get better about that. If I get better about that, my team members get better about that. So I'm getting better about that, and each one of my team members are getting better about that. So I see that the complacency that I've set in myself has gotten worse, and now it's getting better. So because of the fearfulness that I had in my early 2010 when we lost business. So just thinking, okay, well, I'm good with where we are. No, we need to always be working on everything. So number 12 is focus. Select your core goals and work towards them. Having too many goals and too little focus will yield fewer results. So what are your goals? Do you have them written down? How often do you go over them? So I said earlier, my number 1 thing is organize my notepad. It also contains my goals on it every single week. So I look at those. I focus on my quarterly and my yearly. So absolutely, what are your goals? It says if you write your goals down, you're more likely to achieve them. So I've done that for the past 23 years, and I keep setting goals and going forward. So focus on your goals. Number 13 is access your ROI. Spend more on those items that have higher return and cut those costs more than what they are yielding. So if you did not know your ROI in different incentives, decision making is made much better. So you really want to know what your ROI is, your return on investment. What does that look like? Where are you spending your time? Right now, I've already told you guys in the next 9 months, I've set away X amount of dollars to know that I'm going to get this return on training and hiring and focusing on our customer service, because I do believe our technology and different things in our industry is going to change to be able to set us apart. So what am I focusing in on? Where are those things going forward? So my return on investment is going to be there, and I'm 100% confident in that. And I am relying on that, but I'm still going to analyze that every single month. Winning does not always equal success. So winning doesn't always mean that you're successful. What are you doing to invest in your business? What are you doing to look at your return on investment? And there may be some that you're willing to lose a little bit more on, and it doesn't equal exactly a win on that position of where you spent that money. So number 14 is be bold. Don't be afraid to try and fail. We talked about this earlier. Many times you will succeed. We all fail. We all have been fired. I told you guys how I got in the business. I was fired because I walked out the door. So take that chance. If you don't take any chances, you absolutely get zero. So take that chance. Go for it. How many times have you heard the story about I started my business with $10 or I started my business with $100? Well, I started my business with no dollars and just my best friend, and we paid each other's bills for 9 months, sometimes off of our own credit cards for each other's rent, just to survive, to get to that 10-month in the industry where we were eligible to go to our boss and say, okay, we want to promote it now. We want to be the originator. And he's like, how do you say so? And we showed him the long list of originations we were having that month. And we made more in that 1 month, a third of what our income ever was just in 1 month. So we took that time and we were bold. We actually stepped out. We stayed late at night. No one wanted to take Friday night appointments at 7. But what are you doing different? Why are you afraid to fail? And who can help you within your company to help coach you up to get over some of those fears? So number 15. So this is probably my most favorite one, and why I say a lot of people sometimes say, why do you do the things that you do? But always be open to learning. So always be open to learning. Be willing to receive advice. Know that you have room for improvement, but also be selective in the advice upon which you act. People who know me think that I travel a lot, and they do. Of course, my yearly vacations are great. You see all those pictures, but the rest of the travel, that quarterly vacation is tied in with a seminar. That quarterly weekend is tied in with a seminar. And I've always gotten a little bit made fun of. Corrina, you're always teaching. You're always at this seminar. You're always at this. You're doing this. I'm here with you guys today because I'm learning. I learned so much just from the past 2 ladies that I was taking notes down on my note. So definitely always be learning. There is no way that you could ever know enough about the mortgage industry or any type of business that you're running unless you continually open your mind and go for it. So I often ask, like from this point forward, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And I look back at these 15 things, and keep in mind, your whole business, you can swipe and adapt from so many different places. I didn't write all this. I added my parts of me, Corrina, to it, but I actually got most of this off of the internet and looked at 15 years. August 5th was my 15-year anniversary. And I said, what am I going to do for my 15-year anniversary? And it's COVID. And I sat down and I looked up some of the things that I wanted to do, and none of them I could. So I said, I'm going to write down some goals for myself and where we're going to go in the next year. And I've been sticking to that. So you want to really think about these 15 items. You can apply them to any type of business, mortgage industry, or anything else. And the most important thing is, we talked about it at a roundtable earlier, and Jamie said it, Kelsey said it, and I think probably every person on today's mastermind we'll talk about it is, how do you silence your mind and truly listen to what people are saying? And we are all bad at that. We are all extremely bad at that. How do you silence your mind and truly listen to what people are saying? So it's really hard for me because my mind is like Michelle's. It's going 90 miles an hour. And I constantly walk in the door at night and my daughter says, shut down your damn mind, shut down your mind, shut down your mind. And I just can't. I can't. And then sometimes somebody will ask me something and I'm responding before that. And we really have to pay attention. And we really have to be at the point where we are paying attention and we are listening to what our peers want. We are listening to what our team members want. We are educating them. We are being in a position to where helping them grow and not tearing them down. So definitely the number one thing I take away from today is how are we going to all silence our mind and listen to what people are saying? And then we can all help each other, educate each other a little bit better in the process. So, I guess Mitch is coming on now, but I wanted to thank everybody for listening in today and thank you for having me. And that's the top 15 things I've learned about how to manage my day and live and work and breathe and eat with my family day to day. So Mitch, I hope it was helpful for everybody.
I absolutely loved your story. There's, something about, hearing success story of, people like you said, in your pocket. You didn't start your business with anything, and the Rock, how he talks about he had $10 when he decided to become, what he is today. So it's fantastic to hear people's stories. That's my favorite part about doing these events. Is if anyone's listening, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. It doesn't matter what you're doing right now. You had nothing. No history with mortgages, like you said, and look at you now. So, people that watch these seminars and these videos, they need to understand that it doesn't matter what's going on in their life now. It doesn't matter, what they think is going to happen in the future. If they put their mind to it, they can be successful in anything. If they take advantage of what you and all these other ladies are sharing, you're giving them the roadmap.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All they got to do is do the work.
Yep. These 15 things can be applied to any business. If someone had sent me down 15 years ago and just said, keep track of these 15 things along the way and you'll be successful, I would have been like, oh, hallelujah. But no one really wants to take the time to help you. So I appreciate you having me. I think all these ladies are on here to actually give back and to really help someone grow their business. So I am very appreciative and I thank you for having me on. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, don't hesitate. You can find me on social media or CorrinaCarter.com as well too.
Awesome. Well, again, I want to thank you for participating today. All right, everybody. I wanted to bring in our next sponsor. Hello, Michelle and Shelly. How are you?
Hi. Well, how are you?
Good. So we're running just perfectly on time. So I'll give you the stage for 5 minutes to, tell us about Vantage Point and, what you can do to help folks.
Sure. Excellent. Thanks so much, everyone. We're really excited to be here. Shelly and I will give you a little background on the two of us. So we've known each other for many years. For all of us who've been in the industry for a long time, we've been in the industry for longer than we want to probably admit to. 30 plus years going on. So the great thing about us is that Vantage Point is a nationwide title escrow closing and default servicer. Provider, excuse me. We're able to provide all of those services on a nationwide basis. We are located in Clearwater, Florida, but we have offices all over the country, and we basically use our great technology. We are integrated into many different systems, so that really helps to add, as well as one of the things we're super proud about is we really are committed to the United States and our military veterans. We hire and have quite a few of them working with us, as well as everything is done here in the USA. So we're excited about that. I don't know, do you want to add a little?
Yeah, well, we specialize in all different workflows. We custom build your workflow to what your needs are. We can grab into your system. So if you don't have or you're not on a larger LOS platform, our proprietary system is Resware, which is excellent. It interacts with, just for one or an entire team, which is pretty terrific. We also specialize in a purchasing program where we have Title Concierge that is complimentary and included into our bundled pricing. In our refi division and actually across the board, we pride ourselves in having bundled fees. So we keep the fees down for our clients. And we specialize just in helping everybody, white gloving them, making them feel important and not falling through the cracks in such a busy time. The refi market is hot as ever right now. So, yeah.
The big thing too, as we all know, the changes are occurring.
I think the advantage.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I think the advantage of, you guys is that you're nationwide. So, in today's market, like you said, everybody is looking for help. I saw one guy post the other day that he had a closing, but, his company told him, it's going to be 2 weeks before they can get to him. 2 hours later that he found a title company to close the next day. So, I think title is very important. And I think you guys, definitely can help people in that aspect.
Absolutely. And our turn times are amazing, even during the busy times. We really, our teams, we actually give everybody their own team. So they're not just lost in the shuffle of a title company. And we have a centralized close, which is really important as well. So you're not having, if you have a regional company and you're dedicated to 15 states or 20 states, you will have the same team closing all of your transactions.
Right. And the other part is growth. As we know, as Corrina and others have talked about growing the business, as you grow into other states, you may have a local rep in your state that you use, and that works out great for you. But when you move into another state, then you're kind of stuck either reaching out and asking people to help you or finding someone yourself, and becomes very challenging because you don't know really what that company does. So the beauty for us is that standardized team can be utilized on a nationwide basis. So no matter where you move to, the same team that supported you, whether it's in one state or 2 states, can support you in all 50 as you grow. And then the other important thing that everyone's excited about is the remote online closings that are now becoming very standardized. We love them. They're great. The beauty of them is you can't make really a mistake. They can't miss a document, sign something wrong. And immediately when the documents are all signed, they're uploaded to us and to the brokers or the lenders, whomever, and there's no more FedEx or any of that. It's really great. So we love RON closings. For all of you who haven't tried it, we recommend it highly.
Well, and your CDs are automatically SAS 16 audited certified, which is really important. We have an amazing compliance division that audits all our files, which actually help you in return with your files being compliant.
Right. Other than that,
you have Michelle and I, because we're always happy and helpful. We love to help our clients.
Yeah, it's really about service.
Well, I do want to thank. Right. And that's the key. And, with everything going online, everything. So online closings, online everything. So thanks to Zoom and places like StreamYard, you can make things happen with technology now that, maybe 2 years ago we never thought about.
Definitely.
It's amazing, especially since we've been in the business so long. I mean, everybody can relate to having fax machines.
Yeah. I don't know too many people that have those anymore, but definitely there's a couple.
Have a fax machine. She's
I
just
still make fun of my mom because she has a regular house phone, but that's only because she lives in a rural area and her cell phone don't work there.
My mom has a real phone too.
If anyone's interested, we would love to send you a PowerPoint. We would love to have a phone call with you and just learn about your business and your business lines and what you're focused on. And Michelle and I would love to work with all of you and any of you.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to thank both of you for sponsoring. Like I said, it's, the sponsors that make this thing work and, make it free for everybody to attend. So, we do appreciate that. And if you want to get into the group, I don't know if you joined the actual group that this is broadcasting live in, you can go in there and comment, drop all your details, and, do anything you need to in there. So that way people can reach out to you.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect.
We appreciate that.
We'll send out a quick couple of slides to everyone after the conference as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate you both for joining us, and it's Ladies' Day, so we appreciate it.
Perfect.
All right, we're good.
Stay well.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thank you.